This is the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
I'm not making any money talking these days. Good Christ. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Still am. I guess I am a decent guy because I'm a fucking jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Apparently I'm a dick. I'm not an awful guy, but I've done so much ridiculous stuff. I'm an awful guy. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Folks, we're here with Pilgrims and Indians. Indians? That's awful. Do we have to start over? I just said Indians. And you know who they are? Close friends of the Indians. I don't know if you're the Indians. You know, that sounds like retarded Indians. That's who the Indians are. That's who, because the Indians had their teepees and their wigwams and other alliterative modes of housing. But then they made their, so where would they make the Indians sleep if it has to be alliterative? The poo-poo? Oh, all right. That's our friend Lily Von Stupp, bringing the level of the show way down. I was just talking about indigenous peoples and trying to educate you folks, and sure enough, she launches a salvo of shiest right in your face. Take that. She's like a poofling and monkey over on the earwaves. The earwaves? I've just invented another word. You know, fuck, I'm in my head because I listened to last week's show, and in the midst of the rant about our friend Cody and his love of Depeche Mode, you know, because that was all kind of seat of the pants, folks. And so in it, you can hear the 900 grammatical mistakes. I just sat there and listened to it red penning the entire fucking thing like a second grade teacher going, that's wrong. Culminating in me saying Martin Gahan, which is a huge mistake because it's David Gahan, of course, who is the lead singer of Depeche Mode, and Martin, Martin Slash My Wrists, I think is the other member of Depeche Mode. So I can't remember his name right now, but I put them together into a Martin Gahan. And I mentioned that to Lily, and Lily said she liked the idea of Depeche Mode being in just one entity. Like when I combined them all, where I had David Gahan and then Martin, and I made a Martin Gahan. And so we decided that Depeche Mode should be like a Voltron. They should just be like an emo She said like a transformer, like an emo truck is how she put it. And I think they should be like like the Power Rangers, how they assemble into one giant Power Ranger. That's what Depeche Mode should be. They should just be one giant Voltron, and all they do is they show up and they bum out the monster that's destroying Tokyo. Like they don't fight it or anything. They just show up and they kind of mope around Tokyo while some giant turtle is smashing power lines. And then there's the giant Depeche Mode emo truck, fucking monster Voltron. And he's just sad, and then he starts to talk to the monster, and the monster goes, "Oh fuck, this is horrible and disgusting. I got to get the fuck out of here." And then the monster splits and saves Tokyo, and then everybody runs over. They're like, "Oh, thank you, Depeche Mode, Voltron, Depressed Mode." That's it's Depressed Mode. That's who he is. The big giant monster is depressed. He's in Depressed Mode, and when they come over and they thank him, they're like, "Thank you for saving Tokyo," and he's like, "Whatever." And then his bangs fall into his eyes, and he tries to brush them aside. And then he just walks off. He doesn't even fly. There's no heroic exit. He just splits and walks into the ocean and sadly sinks. So that's what Lily and I were doing before the show started, as we were going back and forth. We were having our free weekly therapy session, which we always do. And we bitch about the things in our life that are prevalent. And then we wound up making up Depressed Mode. So that was fun. I should have the microphones rolling. That's what I should do. And when I say microphones, of course, I mean microphone, because why would I ever have two? I can't afford two. I've just got one. All right. Hi, folks. How are you? Mike Schmidt. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're excited about it. I'm excited about it, certainly. Shouldn't we all be excited about it? It's our, you know who's really excited about it? Tila Tequila's excited about it. I saw it today. I saw a clip from her sex tape today. But it's like 15 seconds of her holding the dick. That's not a sex tape. That's seriously, that's Thursday for Tila Tequila, I would imagine. Who the fuck is she? She says she's going to sue these people for putting out this clip of this sex tape. It's like, why are you? This is why you're famous. It's the only reason you're famous. You're because you look like a manchichi that came to life and has sex with people. That's it. Holy fuck. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Why is she upset? If anything, she should be, because dude, and especially this, last week, she was on Ustream for 3 hours in the middle of the night, said she was going to strip, and sadly I watched it. All right, so Like, because I found out about it like an hour after it happened, and it was embedded somewhere. So I literally turned it on, and I was able. It was funny. I mentioned last week about calling radio stations, and you know how you used to call and you get a busy signal trying to get through. Well, on the internet, sometimes when something is jammed up, you can't. It just starts. Your little cursor starts whirring. Well, that's what happened. Is my cursor was whirring trying to see Tila Tequila like an hour after this happened, like at the middle of the night, and then all of a sudden it started to play, and I'm like, oh, I felt like I was one of the lucky ones because I knew they were going to take it down immediately. I'm sure her lawyer was going to step in if all the things. Because here's the thing, I heard a bunch of crazy shit happened on it. I heard she got completely naked. I heard she took her tampon out during it. I mean, there was like all these different things that people said happened. But I got to be honest, I watched it, and it was literally just her kind of stripping and playing music she wrote 5 years ago and talking into the camera, looking for validation for her life, essentially, because she's sad and she's ready to fucking off herself. But in the video, the funniest thing is she strips and she's stripping and she's doing like stripper moves and she gets on a chair and falls off. Like the fucking, but the thing is, that happens like 26 minutes in. Now you've got 2 hours and 40 minutes of horribleness of her just talking and explaining when she wrote these songs. And I mean, oh, fuck, just this. It was just the culmination of someone who has no friends, just this shell of a person who's trying to get validated through the internet. And she's like, people are writing her and she's like, oh, I'm banning you, motherfucker. I'm banning you because you're going to talk shit about me. You can't talk shit about me. Yes, we can. That's why you exist. You're stripping in your house on a goddamn webcam. Did you expect people to go, wow, jolly good, this is fantastic. Holy gosh, you look fantastic in this light. I can't believe it. Oh my God, I can't tell you what this resolution does for you as I peer at you through my iPhone. No, people want you to fucking fall on your ass. They want to make fun of you, but that's why you exist. I don't know what you're fucking pissed off about. So in the middle of this show, I'm going to strip and fall off my chair. I'm hoping to do that. I'm not on Ustream. I can't. I don't have the technology yet, folks. We don't have a camera, or we do on the web. Is it you use your mic, your laptop camera? Is that how it works?
You can, but I have a video camera. Why, you want to stream live?
Oh, please. Yeah, that's what I want. I want people to see me talking in circles in your garage sale room, and then having to stop down and go every fucking 5 seconds. Oh, horrible. All right, how are you, folks? I'm good. That's good. Glad to hear it. Lily and I are, we were contemplating, because it's, Thanksgiving, and you're going to get this on Thanksgiving, and I don't think you're going to listen to it right away, would you? It doesn't seem like it's going to make your cranberry sauce too palatable to hear me bitching about Tila Tequila. Is that going to work? And I actually had to go and listen to last week's. Yes, I did a Thanksgiving show last week for nobody. I just did it into space. I wound up talking in circles, and because I like to do that. You know what I do? I actually do a pre-show. So like I finished last week's show, and then an hour later I started this week's show. I did a pre-show. We did a launch, and then we critiqued it. I think you hear how tightly edited and focused these shows are. So you know that there's no doubt last week I did my pre-show, ran through it. And my producer and I sat down, we talked, we did a lot of figuring out. All right. I listened to last year's Thanksgiving show to see what I talked about, because I don't know, you know me, I don't remember what I talked about. And so I won't talk about those things. What does that even mean? Stupid. I'm a moron. All right. Why would I alert you to the fact that I won't be talking about those things? It's the dumbest thing in the world. It makes no sense at all. But what I will tell you this, after listening to last year's Thanksgiving show, you can clearly hear that there was no plan. There's never a plan, mind you. But last year, like on Thanksgiving, you can hear me when you listen to it. And again, go ahead and buy year one; you'll be able to hear it. But you can hear that I did not anticipate doing another show on another Thanksgiving. Like I didn't exactly shoot my Thanksgiving wad, but what I spoke in finalities, where I was like, oh, this is what I remember most about Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? So as if I was never going to speak on Thanksgiving again. And now here we all are, folks, enjoying ourselves again, another Thanksgiving. And I can tell you there will not be a third. That is not happening. I don't even know if there's going to be a year 3, but I can tell you if there is, I'm taking fucking Thanksgiving week off. Because how many times can you talk about retarded Indians? I mean, seriously. And I believe me, I hate telling you that I'll take it off, or I hate even saying that I won't talk about those things, because it reminds me of, like, I was on Twitter. this happened this week. I follow like baseball writers and MMA writers on Twitter. Again, I don't follow anybody on Twitter because I don't ask people to be my friends on Facebook. I think people should know who I am, and that's what it's all about. I'm important and funny, and everybody else should be worshiping me. So I follow these people on Twitter, and then they send out these Twitters going, "Hey man, I'm gonna go off Twitter for a week, so I just wanted to let you guys know." Really? You wanted to let me know? You know how I would really get to know that? When I didn't receive any Twitters from you. That would tell me that you were. I mean, are you that? I mean, Twitter alone is self-important. We all get that, right? By the way, twitter.com, the 40-year-old boy. But go ahead and follow my once a week crap. It's like, as I often will think, I go, I should post something. And then I'll look at my phone and I'll just stare at it and go, why? Nobody wants to hear from me. No one wants to hear from me. But then every day people are following me. Like I get more people who are following me. Maybe they're following me because they like the silence. They like the radio silence of my Twitter. They're like, fuck, I'm going to finally follow a guy who doesn't bother me all the time. So it's like they're still participating in Twitter, but they're avoiding all of that nonsense of interacting with other people, and I respect that. I'm all for that. But I should have to. I guess I should send out a Twitter that tells people, hey, you know what? Unfortunately, I'm not going to be on Twittering for a while. Well, I don't have to send that because people know that. I send out one Twitter every week. It's on Wednesday to tell you that the fucking show is up. Because this is my Twitter. It's like an hour and a half, unfortunately, and believe me, don't think that that's not going to stop. I say 10 minutes into the show, knowing full well that I still at least have some stuff to talk about, but Christ, if I get into hour and a half territory, somebody show up at my house and shoot me. Shoot me right in the fucking head. And by the way, when I say my house, apparently I mean go to Lily's house and shoot me because that's where I record the show. So come here on a Wednesday, just sit in the bushes and then leap out and shoot me. Do that, like Francis Dollaride in fucking Manhunter. All right. Why is that stuck in my head? I love that name, Dollaride. What a great name, Francis Dollaride. That's a creepy dude in that movie. Manhunter's great. It was the first appearance of Hannibal Lecter on screen. Go see it. Not the Manhunter remake with Edward Norton. Go see the first one with William L. Peterson and Dennis Farina, made by Michael Mann. All creepy lighting and atmospheric music. Oh fuck, Michael Mann's a god. And by the way, when I say go see that, I mean find a theater in America that's playing it because it's a movie. How stupid am I? The movie's from like 1987. I'm telling you to go see it. Put it in your Netflix queue, whatever you young people do these days to get films. I don't know how it works. Go see it. I'm stupid. But Michael Mann is a genius, right? We can all agree on that. He's the man. I mean, dude, Heat and, like Manhunter and, what did I just watch? Thief was one of my all-time favorite movies, Michael Mann. Again, I am in awe of true genius. When you see those guys, because again, I have a high opinion of myself. But I think that what I do well. But then you see guys who really do stuff that matters and they do it well. Jesus Christ, I'm in the shadow of giants. There's no way I can even hope to compete with that. I'm talking in circles about a Depeche Mode robot. That doesn't fucking. How does that even come close to stacking up to Thief or Heat? Heat? Are you kidding me? The bank robbery scene in Heat is greater than anything I'll ever accomplish in my entire life, ever. I mean it. Even if I had a child, even if I somehow produced a child, it would not be anywhere near as good as the bank robbery scene in Heat. Probably because it had to be raised by me. That would be seriously. That's a strike against it right there. But man, think about it. David Fincher, fucking Panic Room, Benjamin Button, and look, I know I got a bunch of shit from people because they didn't like Benjamin Button. Go fuck yourselves. Seriously. I'm not saying it was great, okay, but I sat there in the movie theater transfixed. You just have to sometimes look at the accomplishment, okay? Whether you want to say, oh, it's long or it's boring or it's this or it's that, dude, take a look at it and go, hey, could you do that? Could you do that? No, you couldn't do that. It's like when I saw Black Hawk Down. Look, I didn't care for Black Hawk Down. It was okay. Part of when I saw it, it's a movie theater in El Paso, Texas, and at the end of it, I just looked at him and I go, could you ever conceive of doing that? Could you ever conceive of making that film? Because there's so many moving parts and so many. I mean, just filming one helicopter crash would be it. I would cash in my chips and go, I'm done. That's it. Fantastic. This film is in the books. But I mean, it's like 2.5 hours of gunfights and driving through the streets of Somalia. Where would you put the cameras? I can't even take a photo with my iPhone. I don't know how the fuck you could direct a film. I mean, when we were doing sketches and stuff, I had an idea. I would have ideas, and I wanted angles. And I'm a terrible director. Let's go ahead and say that right now, because Pat and I would take turns directing the sketches, and I was this exacting asshole who I knew exactly what I wanted, and I said, look, it's got to be this way. It's got to be this way. And I guess that's kind of what good directors do, but they don't do it in the hallway to an intern who's holding a fucking handheld camera. You know what I mean? It's like I would tell a guy, look, no, you got to stand. I want your elbow here on the water cooler and terrible. And Believe me, anything that happened at Load, anything good that happened was in spite of me. It was because of the people I brought in and surrounded myself with. I mean, I'm funny and I came up with some great ideas, but Jesus Christ, when I would try to actually execute them, thank God I had people around me who could go ahead and do that. I brought in good people. You know what? Maybe that's what the key is. The key is to being a good director or someone who creates something is have good people around you, because then you can just fucking sit back and let them do all the work, and then you take credit for it. That's what I do on this show. Literally, I come and talk in circles about nothing. That means nothing to anybody. But Lily sits here and tolerates it, puts it together, makes it a perfect product at the end of it, takes whatever fucking gibberish I give her. You know, it's like I empty my pockets with a bunch of change and bottle caps, and somehow she gets me a new car. Every week. I don't know how the fuck it happens. I turn out my pockets like a beggar in 18th century England, and I've got like shillings and pence and fucking buttons and lint and bottle caps and hard candies, and somehow she cobbles it into the finished product that I actually am very proud of, because she did all the work. I mean, it's just me spitting garbage, and then she goes ahead and shapes it into something great. And Mex too. That's the thing. Again, literally, you got to surround yourself with people, because I talk whatever, but then she's able to craft it into something, and then he comes up with the fucking amazing photo. He's got the music, and we went and did the commercials. I mean, it's like if I didn't have him, fuck. You know what we got? We got me last year's Thanksgiving show talking about Lordy. That's what we got. With no plan, with no direction, with no aim. But now there is a plan and a direction and an aim, and I don't know what it is. I'm sure they'll let me know. At some point, the two of them will call me on the carpet and go, "Look, we've got a big meeting here at 40-Year-Old Boy Industries, and we thought we'd include you since your name's in the title. Granted, we used you to go ahead and try to register this, but whatever the fuck." I'm the Shell Corporation. That's what I am. I'm the Dutch Antilles for Lily and Mex. That's it. I'm a shell corporation. As they put their genius together and try to create something, they do it through me. Like I'm the money laundering aspect of 40-Year-Old Boy Industries. That's who I am. I'm an offshore bank. That's what I am. All right. Have I mentioned it's Thanksgiving, folks? I give thanks for Lily and David. I seriously. If it wasn't for Max and Lily, there would be this show would not be anywhere close to palatable or interesting for anybody, including me. Because I literally wake up on Wednesday mornings and I stretch. I'm like, ugh, and then I look out the window and I go, I wonder what Lily and David have cooked up for me today. I'm very excited about that. And then I realize that I need to put some pants on because I'm standing in front of a window that's open. All right. I don't know. I get right out of bed and it's like, hi, everybody, take a look at this. Look what I'm sporting this morning. Because I'm particularly excited about a Wednesday show. That's what happens every Wednesday. I wake up, boom, hard on. All right. Just Wednesdays, though. I don't care for that the rest of the week because, I don't want to. I'm getting old. You only got so many left, right? I don't know. I'm an old man. Thankfully, it's so funny that hasn't been a problem. Why? You don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that yet. But I will say it in context of going to the doctor. They always, as you get older, they ask you questions when you are physical or whatever, and they'll always give you that sideways glance, like, any erectile problems or dysfunctions? And I'll go, nope. And I am so happy that I get to say nope. I'm waiting for the day when I have to go, yeah, and I think it's weird that they even ask, but good for them, because then they, you don't have to go, hey, I got to talk to you about something, Doc. All right. Why the fuck did I even bring that up? Who cares? Nobody cares. Jesus Christ. I'm excited about Thanksgiving tomorrow. That's what I'm excited about. We went shopping yesterday to get all of the Thanksgiving supplies that we are going to have. And then my wife, of course, awkward. My wife is Debbie Reynolds from Mother. She is. She just feels the need to cut tension when there is no tension. And she created the tension yesterday. We went to the goddamn grocery store at Ralph's, and we're checking out with our stuff, and we had to align our food because we had the coupons, and we had these different $5 off coupons. Whatever. I'm an old man using coupons. What the fuck? But, it's fucking $15. What are you going to do? You can't argue with it. I wish I was back to being rich where my coupon was money, actual money. When I would be like, what is it, $5? Well, here's a $5 bill. That'll take $5 right off of that. But now I actually have to use little fucking slips of paper that say, we will give you a deal because you're cheap. And not cheap, you're just trying to save money, right? We can all use coupons. Everybody, are you on board with that? College kids, go ahead, use some coupons. Okay, so my favorite coupons are the ones for strip clubs. Those are the ones that I can never bring myself to even think of using. check that. I can think of using them, but I would never in a million years use them because it's a free admission coupon to the strip club because they just want you to come in and drink. That's fine. So that you save $20 if you use that free admission coupon. But I just can't imagine busting out the coupon. Like literally at that point, every dancer would go, "I am never going near that fucking guy." Just on the off chance that he's going to pull out some sort of, autograph book. Or, I mean, you just be like the complete nerd of the century if you're like, hey, I've got a coupon to get into the strip club. Because they know you're not exactly going to be making it rain at that point. Unless you're making it rain with, Maxwell House coupons. Woohoo! That would actually be fucking great. If you went to the strip club and you brought in, you used the coupon to get in, and then you went to the front to make it rain, and you just threw a handful of actual clipped coupons in the air. So there's like on the stage, there's a bunch of dollar bills, and then, oh, look, 30 cents off chicken broth from Swanson. Well, fantastic. Look, Cinnamon, this is a great deal for you. You scoop all this up. I'm sure you've got 2 kids at home. I can certainly tell by your C-scar, so thanks for bringing that up. I know you spun around on the pole really quickly to try to hide it, but unfortunately my eyes can pick it out even in the dark. Even in this dark light, I can see your goddamn C-section scar. So by all means, gather up these coupons that I have for baby formula and take them home because you need them. And give me a lap dance. That's what I say. Here you go. Here's a handful of, you can go ahead and save some money on instant coffee that will keep you awake as you're trying to get your kids off to school after a long night of debauchery and you're pulling fucking Lee press-on nails out of your ass. Here, take these coupons and save some money. And give me a goddamn lap dance. You know what? There's nothing that says high roller in a strip club like 40 cents off of Apple Jacks.
Hi, this is Mike Toomey, and you're listening to the 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. And yes, the stories are real.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of the 40-Year-Old Boy, Mr. Tony Bennett.
So give me a math book, and I will do an equation that blows your ass out. Mensa smartasses. We now return to the 40-Year-Old Boy.
Gentlemen, how about a hand for Brittany? That was Brittany. Now remember, that's 2-for-1 dances for the next 20 minutes. 2-for-1 dances. So if you want to have a dance with Brittany, take her back to the champagne room, get a 2-for-1 dance. 2 songs, 2 dances, 1 low price. Go ahead and take Brittany back to the champagne room. And coming to the stage now, looking to save $1.99 on Hellman's mayonnaise, it is Portia. I don't know where you'd find a $1.99 coupon for Hellman's mayonnaise, but Jesus Christ, if you do, get to the goddamn Spearmint Rhino, because it's going to pay off for you in the end. Portia in her stack heels with a butter knife looking to make a ham sandwich. I love it. God damn, I love it. And you know what? I haven't been to a strip club in a while. They could have completely changed. What if strip clubs are like all bright and nice now? And what if coupons were a currency? God damn, I'm going to start a trend. I'm going to open a discount strip club where you could do that. Oh, that'd be great. All right. I would make... say it again?
They take double coupons.
Yeah, we take double coupons. Exactly. That's how it works. Oh, man, I think this is the move. I will take all competitors' coupons. Whoever wants to come over with their coupons, come in and check out my ladies. And they would be like moms, and they would have I think it's a great plan. All right, so let's all get on that. And by everybody, I mean you guys, and then credit me with the idea. So we're at the store yesterday. We're with our coupons. And unfortunately, Portia was not there, but we did save on mayonnaise. We actually got a free mayonnaise. Because for turkey sandwiches, folks, you got to have turkey sandwiches, right? That's the thing. So Karen's cooking because we could not figure out what we were going to do for Thanksgiving this year. Karen likes to cook. That's her deal. She loves the holidays and she really likes cooking. But then this year she kept making noise about going out and maybe going somewhere different. And we've done that before. We've gone to different places. One year we went to my friend Brian Noonan when he lived out here in Los Angeles, went there and had a good time. But then the thing is, when we go to those places, we come home and we have no leftovers. And Karen then winds up Friday making a Thanksgiving dinner. Like she'll literally make stuffing and potatoes and all that because she likes to have leftovers. So we figured, you know what, just fuck that. Let's just stay home on Thursday. One year we went to Jimmy Pardo and Danielle invited us to Danielle's parents' house, which is really nice. Danielle And her parents, Walter Koenig, was in Star Trek. And they were very nice to us. It was really just a great time. The food was really good. We had an amazing time, except they made me sit at the Klingon table, which I did not appreciate. Oh, that makes me laugh. All right, so so sometimes we usually cook, and we usually have my buddy Kurt will come over, and it'll be me, Karen, and Kurt. We've had anywhere from 15 people over playing games and eating pie to just me, Karen, and Kurt the last few years. And now Kurt has a girlfriend, and so it looks like they're going to spend Thanksgiving together, and we're going to that's the deal. They're together, we're together, and it would also be awkward to have them over to our house because we don't have enough chairs for them. I know that sounds weird. Literally, Karen and I are like, Archie and Edith Bunker. We each have a chair, and they're strategically positioned, and then there's nowhere else for anybody to sit unless the floor or our desk chairs. And then that's no fun for anybody because then someone's sitting in an office chair eating Thanksgiving dinner. That doesn't make you feel comfortable at all. It's just literally you're sitting at my desk in an office chair, and you're just like, so tell me why you think you'd be right for this position. Please pass the giblets. That does. Nobody wants to feel like a professional on Thanksgiving. Fuck all that. It's your day off. So we'll be home. So we're cooking. So and by we I mean Karen is cooking. So it's funny. I always say we're cooking, and people are like, "Oh, does Karen put you to work in the kitchen?" And the answer to that is no, because Karen would be driven insane by me in the kitchen doing anything. I mean, it's like because I would start telling her how to chop onions. I would start telling her what to do. And it's like, for years and years, she knows how to cook and she knows what she's doing. Why the fuck would you want me in there clunking it up? It makes no sense. So she's going ahead and she's happy doing what she's doing. And I'm happy sitting in the living room doing nothing. So she's cooking, and we went to Ralph's yesterday to buy food. And then we're checking out, and there's a cashier there named Mike. And I'll tell you, I'm not a fan of Mike. There's another cashier named Tony, who I think I've mentioned before. Karen can't stop drooling over whenever we're there. It's like she wants to feel his muscles. Like it's that weird of a thing. She's like, and she starts giggling. Oh, Tony, how are you? And she's feeling his arm. It's like, dude, let him check out our groceries. All right, please. He's checking us out. You can check him out, but try to keep it, keep the conveyor belt between the two of you at all times. Literally, when she's talking to Tony, I have to put up that divider that separates your groceries. I have to take one and put it between her and Tony to make sure she doesn't get mixed up with him. That's how it works. So last night she's in line with Michael, who's another guy, and he's a nice fella. He's an older man, I guess. He seems okay, and that's how this is our Ralph's. We know the people there; they know us. So she's checking out, and Karen goes, "So where's Tony today?" To Mike, the checker, and he looks up drolly, and I mean droll, because he looks like Hal Holbrook playing an English professor. That's what this guy looks like. He's got silver hair and like a silver mustache, and he looks up and drolly he looks over and he goes, "Who's Tony?" Now look, you all work at Ralph's. We know you know who Tony is. He's the gregarious, outgoing checker that everybody likes because he's not you. So we know you know who Tony is. So Karen goes, Tony, your friend Tony. That's what she says, your friend Tony. And Mike goes, "Oh, he's not working today. I haven't seen him." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Well, but that's okay because, I must be fun to work with him and you guys are, friends." And she's like trying to fill awkwardness because she can feel awkwardness. So she's trying to fill in the cracks with verbal caulk. Like she's trying to do everything she can to repair whatever is broken because she can sense it. We can all sense it because there's no reason to have fucking small talk with Mike the checker. He's just checking you out. Let's leave. But he looks up and he goes, "Tony and I don't get along." And Karen just goes, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." And he goes, "Well, it's just, that's just," and then he starts going on and on about it. Like he starts all of a sudden unburdening himself of all of the problems he has with Tony to customers. Look, I'm just there getting free mayonnaise, dude. I don't want to hear a fucking thing. I barely want to say hi to you. Now I want to hear about the problems you have with the cool checker. I don't want to fucking hear that. So I'm just ignoring it. Karen's talking, but Karen's listening, and she's like sympathetic. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's so wrong. That's terrible. Especially when you work with somebody. Oh, Jesus, stay out of it. Stay out of it." So then, capping it all off, the guy bags our groceries, and Karen looks at him and she goes, "Well, Mike, you're our favorite." What? First of all, why do you have a favorite checker? But that's my wife. She's Debbie Reynolds. She feels she's got to smooth over situations and make people feel good about themselves. She's good. You're our favorite. Why do you even have to have a favorite Ralph's checker? It doesn't make any sense. They exist to get you out of the store faster. I don't know why you'd have to have a favorite. And also, not only do you not have to have a favorite, if you do, it's certainly not Mike. Why do you lie blatantly to this man's face? The only reason you had a conversation with him was to ask where Tony was. He knows you're not, that he's not your favorite. Awful. So I'm like, I can't believe how awkward it's become at that moment. And then, the smart ass kid is putting our bags in the grocery. And when I say smart ass kid, I mean, he's laughing the entire time about the Tony thing because he's there. He lives it. They understand the tension between Tony and Mike, I guess. And, but he's talking too. He enters the fray as he bags my groceries. And then we go to walk out, and then Mike says to Karen, I thought he would be your favorite, and points at me. And Karen goes, he's my favorite at home, but you're our favorite here at the store. Oh, God. By all means, throw that last shovelful of dirt on this entire situation. You're kidding me. So we're walking out, I look at her, I go, why did you tell him he's your favorite? Why? And she goes, well, I got Ralph's gossip. He says that he and Tony don't get along. I said, so what? Who needs Ralph's gossip? I don't. And he's not your favorite. Tony's your favorite. We know Tony's your favorite. Jesus Christ. It's all you can do to keep from leaping over the counter and boning him right there on the thing and having like a Bugs Bunny no sale come up on the cash register. You can barely control yourself. I mean, it's crazy. So then we get home and we unpack all the groceries. And I look at her and I go, were you watching The Bagger at all? And she's like, no, what do you mean? And I go, because he fucked up your bread. She says, what do you mean? Because, again, folks, turkey sandwiches, you have to have a certain bread. So Karen bought like potato bread, like country potato, a soft loaf of bread. And so, unfortunately, this asshat buried it under fucking 10 pounds of onions. Like, it was like, I just see the bread and I'm like, no way. And sure enough, I get home and I pull it out. And this nice fluffy loaf of bread was now completely smashed in. It looked like 9/11 had happened to this bread. I mean, like terrorists had flown a plane into it. It had collapsed. So I looked at her and I go, dude, why? This is what happens when you're trying to console Mike and make him feel better about himself. Now my fucking sandwiches are ruined. She's like, well, I'll go back to Ralph's. I go, you better tell this guy he fucked up your bread. She goes, I'm going to tell him that. I go, go ahead. That doesn't do anything to me. So then this is, again, my wife. She calls Ralph's and she goes, hello, who's this? And the guy's name was Chris. She goes, Chris, are you a manager? And I guess he said yes. She goes, Chris, I'm a longtime customer and shopper there at that Ralph's. My name's Karen, and I was just there doing my Thanksgiving shopping. Now, this is far too much information for Chris, the manager. He doesn't care that you're a longtime customer. He doesn't care that it was Thanksgiving shopping. Quit embellishing. Just tell the guy, hey, I was there. You smashed my bread. I'm coming in to get new bread. No, it turns into a fucking 10-minute conversation with Chris, the hipster manager. She's talking about this, and she's like, I'm going to come in. And she hangs up the phone, and she goes, I'm going to tell him that he fucked up our bread. I said, you go ahead and do that. Good luck to you. And she went to Ralph's, and I guess she did. She walked past, but she went to the manager and told him that. Oh, and then also on the phone, she told him, she goes, yeah, I need it's Sara Lee country potato bread. And he goes, okay, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, will you have it at the desk waiting for me when I come in? No, they won't, because you don't want them touching your bread, because now they're going to fucking stick their cock in it or something. Don't. You go get the bread. Walk into the store, go get the loaf of bread that you want, and trade it out for the smashed bread. Because now you're going to... I go, why do you let these maniacs pick out our bread? Now, what if they pick a stale loaf? I go, because if you called me and you pulled up this bullshit about I'm a longtime shopper with a Thanksgiving blah, 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 Christ, I would drop the bread, I would throw it around like a football before I even gave it to you. I don't know. And again, maybe that's me. Maybe I'm just a jag-off. But if you start qualifying everything, I would go, well, fuck you. I would pick the worst bread. I would find the bread that's going to expire in like a day, and I would, fuck it. I'd put it in the freezer and make it get cold. I would do everything I could to ruin your bread.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's right. So, whatever. So, but then the thing is, she walked past. She told me, she goes, I told him. I go, what? She goes, I walked in. I go, you fucked up my bread. I said, seriously? She goes, yeah. And she goes, and they started laughing. They thought it was funny. And I said, well, great. It is funny coming out of you. I mean, you're, little pipsqueak who's like, you fucked up my bread. But I go, what'd the bagger kid say? She goes, oh, well, I didn't tell him. I told the manager. I go, well, the manager didn't fuck up your bread. She goes, well, he was outside smoking and I didn't want to bother him. I said, fuck that. You tell that kid to come inside. That's the whole point. Look, I was a bagger, okay? And you know, regardless of whether I was good at it or not, you have to be held responsible for what the fuck you've done. It was my first job ever, and I took pride in it. And it's a story I'll tell you another time. I'm not going to go into it, but no, it's way too long. So, and believe me, if I'm saying something's way too long, you know it's fucking way too long. It's funny because I mentioned it on another show once, and I said about a grocery store, and I was like, I don't even want to go into that. And some guy's like, what could you possibly have done at this grocery store? Nothing. It's no big deal, but I can't go into it now. So but I was a bagger, and I knew how to fucking do it. So it's like it drives me insane when baggers fuck things up. And this is the Ralph that has the one-armed bagger too. I talked about that, right? Yeah, but now he's a one-armed checker. Which is, yeah, but that's even creepier because then he's got to punch the buttons and then slide them over the thing. Like he can't use his hook. So he puts his hook in a cantaloupe and just drags it across the fucking scanner. That guy would really fuck up your bread. Let me tell you something. Captain Hook would just fucking demolish your bread. That's not good at all. Look, I understand people have to survive, okay? And I know people need jobs, but why would you hire a one-armed guy to work in a grocery store and be a checker or a bagger? It makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. I've covered it before, but I'm sorry, the mystery has not been solved. It's worth revisiting. Jesus Christ. Why would you ever hire someone who could be the lead character in a slasher film franchise? I mean, that just makes no sense at all. To handle delicate vegetables and breads? Oh, awful. That guy should be off inspiring people to write movies about dead teenagers. He shouldn't be handling my fucking green peppers. And look, I know everyone in the world needs to have a job. That's fine. And I know that because I don't, and I need one. So we're cooking tomorrow. And again, by we, I mean her. But I'm just happy to have somebody to be like, you know, it's funny because people, when I tell them it's just me and Karen, people will be like, oh, well, don't you have like family or a big party or whatever? You know, Thanksgiving when I was a kid was a family deal. But then in my, you know, in the wilderness years, I would wind up in all sorts of different places for fucking Thanksgiving and not even, you know, the first Thanksgiving I spent in California in 91? Oh, dude. When I was living in the fucking horrible hotel in Hollywood, another comic named Kelly invited us to come to his sister's house and go to Thanksgiving there. And so Lenny and I wound up going down. Thank God we got out of Hollywood for Thanksgiving and went to their house. And even that broke bad because what happened was we went and they made food and it was really fun and we got to meet all these family members. But then we played games, okay? And we played like Trivial Pursuit or I don't know. So we played something. And I take pride in games. I should. But again, it's when you can't control anything in your life and you do have something that you're good at, well, then you fucking go at it. So we were playing, and I was just a dick. I mean, I know I was, but I was just, because I was playing the role of like a trash-talking idiot in a board game. It was the stupidest thing in the world with people I'd never met before except for Kelly and Lenny, but we were all comics. So I figured the three of us were comics, and then these other people were civilians. But I would answer every single question, and I would answer it before it was finished being asked in Trivial Pursuit. Like I would roll, and it was just a dick move. But and then we like even watched like Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. I don't know. I was a know-it-all. I was absolutely a know-it-all, but I was fucking hysterical being a know-it-all. And everybody hated me. Everyone except for Kelly's sister, who fucking fell in love with me, who just thought I was the greatest. I don't know why. And then she and I wound up, and then I wound up ruining her life eventually. So, so that turned out great. Basically, that Thanksgiving can be traced to the downfall of her family. All right, good. My arrival and my charisma as I played video games, or as I played board games, that changed everything. It changed the life of her daughters. It changed the life of everything. I'm a dick. I went to, dude, one of the first Thanksgivings ever was in LA. I had nobody. I had no friends at the time. It was me and my friend. My friend Dennis and I were friends. But Dennis had to either work or he was going. Oh no, he went with his brothers. He went with his family. And I could have gone probably, but I didn't want to push for it. And I don't think he invited me because previously we had played board games with his brothers, and I had been kind of a dick. So I assume that's why I wasn't allowed over that Thanksgiving. Now that I think about it, that's fucking hysterical. You know what? I never even put those two together until just this moment. The birth of Trash Talking Board Game Guy was born with Dennis's brothers. We were same thing, Trivial Pursuit, and I would just answer questions because we were playing the 80s edition. Now, I may as well have written the 80s edition of Trivial Pursuit. So, like, any square I would land on, and the thing was, I could have won basically at any time, but I would purposely not win so I could just answer all the questions and keep going around the board. Like, I was just being a jagoff. And to the point where, here, this pissed me off, and I might have even talked about this at some point. They asked a question, and it was like, this World Series featured the only two teams to win every home game. And I immediately went 1987, Twins and Cardinals. And I grabbed the dice to roll. Look out. What the hell was that? What? Did I knock something over?
No.
Is that your beauty queen past trying to shove its way into the show? Do you want me to get up? Is that heavy?
No, it's not. That's funny as shit.
Wow, that almost fell on my goddamn head. That's not good. What's in this? Gee, all right, look, I think physics alone should tell you that you shouldn't have a giant box with a tiny suitcase and then a giant box on top of that.
There you go.
What the hell? Are you kidding me? Folks, I almost got killed by a cardboard box full of lady stuff, like beauty trophies and a sash. Because literally before I sat down, I looked at this thing, and it was precarious. I'm not going to lie to you. It was precarious earlier, and it was perched over my head, and I looked at it, and she goes, oh, all my beauty queen stuff's in there. I said, really? She goes, yeah, there's my Miss Teen Hillsborough County. That's a trophy that's sticking out of there. I go, where's the sash? She goes, it's in there. I go, where are the pictures? She goes, they're in another box. I'll unpack them someday and show them to you. And, folks, it almost just got unpacked right on my fucking head. And the thing is, it was my back is to the mountain of stuff, and I'm looking at Lily and I'm talking, and I just see her face go, oh, and she makes these big eyes, and I'm like, what the fuck's about to happen? And then sure enough, trophy from Miss Hillsborough County almost got buried into my skull. Christ, I almost got killed by Lily's childhood achievements. That's not a good way to die.
No, it's not.
Holy Christ. Whatever happened to Mike on the 40-year-old boy? He was crushed by memories. That guy got murdered by nostalgia. Oh, good God. And as we all know, nostalgia in Greek is the pain from an open wound. Or pain from an old wound. I don't remember which one. All right, fuck. I don't even know what I was talking about. I just came so close to death, folks. I'm still a little shaken.
Home games.
World Series home games. It's not even worth going into at this point. That might have been the ghost of Dennis's brothers and Kelly's family trying to kill me around Thanksgiving. And it would be appropriate, folks. Because, again, I ruined their family on Thanksgiving Day by forcing the mom of the family to fall in love with me and then abandon all hope of ever raising a normal family and staying with her husband. She was like, I love this guy who knows all the answers to Trivial Pursuit. Done. And she and I, and then we played cat and mouse forever, like in a relationship. Like we were together all the time, but we weren't fucking. It was like we were just, because like it was Kelly's sister, so it was weird. And then she was married. That also didn't help things. She was married with, and she had kids, and two of them were my age. Or no, were they my age? No, I think, well, one of them might have been my age. I don't know, but they didn't appreciate me coming in and gumming up the works. Let's put it that way, folks. Okay, so, and believe me, that's a long story for another time. Nobody wants to hear about any of that either. Because I in my head, I was like, well, Thanksgiving, holiday, short show, do a short show for people. And, that will be your early Christmas gift, is a show that they can just be in and out of. But apparently that's not going to happen. So what the hell was I talking about before I almost died? It was One Other Home Games. Oh, okay. So I was playing. Trash Talking Board Game Guy was playing, and they said name the World Series and I said 1987 Twins Cardinals, and I grabbed the dice, and they go, no, that's wrong. And I go, no, trust me, I'm right. And they go, no, it's wrong. And they said it says on here, and I forget, it was like Cardinals Brewers, I think it said on the card. I go, no, it was 87. It was Twins Cardinals. Trust me, I know. And they go, no, it's wrong. And I go, dude, and this is before the internet when you could run and check something within like 30 seconds. I go, listen to me. I guarantee you it's 1987, and here's why. Because the Twins won every game in the Metrodome, and St. Louis won every game in Busch Stadium, because there was a Monday Night Football game between the Broncos and the Vikings scheduled for like October 20th or whatever, and they had to postpone it because they had to play the 7th game of the World Series on Monday night in the Metrodome, and that was when Monday Night Football moved to Tuesday night for like the first time ever, so Tuesday Night Football. So trust me, I know what I'm talking about. That's how important it was for me to win. But I mean, I was incredulous that they were going to try to deny the fact that I was triumphant and dominating this game. But they just saw it as a way to get the fucking dice out of my hand because I was rolling and answering and winning and just crushing everybody. So they stuck to it. They go, the card's right. Like I would lie, and I'm like, why would I lie and make up a story about the Broncos and the Vikings having to move Monday Night Football to Tuesday Night Football? And then finally I just scaled it back, and I was like, whatever, dudes, because I knew what they were doing. They were just conspiring against me. That's the way it works. They were conspiring against Trash Talking Board Game Guy. I'm a fan of Trash Talking Board Game Guy, but I think his very existence would explain why my wife and I will be spending a quiet Thanksgiving at home alone tomorrow. And in fact, I don't even know how quiet it's going to be tomorrow because maybe she and I bust out a board game at some point during the evening. Maybe we have a sorry showdown and Trash Talking Board Game Guy shows up to make an appearance. I've always got him hip pocketed. Any party I go to, anywhere I go, if someone breaks out the meal board, I'm like, hey, Coop Farah, fuck off. I think that was the birth of Trash Talking Board Game Guy. Was when I was bouncing in Lake Tahoe. It was really, just dead one night. Absolutely fucking dead. And so we actually brought in games to play. I mean, it was because this one bar was it was so death. So it was me and DJ and Katie and did Brad the bartender play? He might have. And we were playing a game called Mealborn, which is like a French game and it's something to do with traffic signals. I don't fucking remember. All I know is I played it as a kid, and then all of a sudden I found out they liked it. So I was like, well, let's play Mealborn. And there was a card you could play where you would, and it was like in Uno when you threw the draw 4, and you'd be like, ha ha, fuck off. You have to draw 4. Maybe only Trash Talking Board Game Guy would say that, but still. Maybe you don't need a board. It's just Trash Talking Game Guy. That's who he is. So yeah, in Uno you have to draw 4 and you drop it, and it's like the nuclear bomb of Uno. You're like, ha ha, I fucking take 4 cards, dick. Again, that's just Trash Talking Game Guy. But in Mealborn, there's a card you can throw that's like a blocker, and it's called like a coup foray because it's French. But we would throw it, and as we were playing the game, because we're progressively people are drinking, and I wasn't, but we were playing, and we made it a big elaborate production of throwing the coup foray card, where we would actually stand up and slam it on the fucking table like as hard as we could, and we'd be like, "Cuff to flunk, motherfucker!" And it was just stupid because it was making us laugh to yell and throw the card down. Like, and we would say all sorts of different, again, we wouldn't just say coup foray. We started to make up phrases or whatever. Like, cock to fuck. You just yell that and throw the card down. So it was just, and then you'd do a dance. You'd do or you'd run around the bar and just like, woohoo, and high five nobody and come back and sit down because you dropped a coup foray on somebody. Okay. So maybe tomorrow Karen and I bust it out. I'm excited. You know what? Trash Talking Board Game Guy is always he's on the leash. I've got him on a leash constantly, ready to be fucking let go into the wild. So anyway, Dennis goes to eat dinner with his brothers and stuff, and I'm sure have a very peaceful game night without me. But the specter of Trash Talking Board Game Guy lurked, I'm sure, at their Thanksgiving, because as they played some sort of Trivial Pursuit, I'm sure at one point one of them looked at one another and went, "You remember that time when fucking Schmidt went crazy and wouldn't give up the dice, and then we had to conspire against him?" Yes, I remember it. Fucking 18 years later. So I had nothing to do. I had nowhere to go. I had no friends or family. So I was like, hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm a comedian. There's a comedy club in town called the Laugh Factory. And every year they make a big deal about serving, people who don't have anywhere to go or, friendless families, that kind of deal. And I said, I'm going to go to the Laugh Factory and have a turkey dinner. So I make the decision to go to a comedy club and eat dinner. Free dinner. By the way, I can't get on the stage at the Laugh Factory. So now I have these visions of showing up for dinner. They're going to go, I'm sorry. I don't. You're not going to pass Jamie's audition to get a fucking free plate of food. I mean, I have no idea how they run the thing. I don't know if they're going to ask me to do a set. Like, part of me is actually thinking maybe I could do a set. Like if they have comedy there. Like, I mean, again, I'm alone and it's early in my comedy career. I don't know what the fuck to do. So I go there and there's like a line outside. So I check in at the door. I'm like, do I need to do anything? No, just go ahead and get in line. Which then, believe me, there's nothing says Happy Thanksgiving more than standing in line waiting for your food. So I'm in line, and there's this miscreants, and nobody is outright Hoboville. I mean, but they're just the people who are either alone or down on their luck. Like I said earlier, friendless families. I have no idea why I said that. That's been stuck in my head since I fucking said it. What is friendless families? What does that even mean? Friendless families. That's great. I come in, and the thing is, when you walk in, it's like an assembly line. They've got in the front of the club all the food, and they've got all the trimmings. They've got your sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce, mashed potato stuffing, and they have comedians passing it out. There's comedians because the thing is, they'll have these guys come in and they volunteer, and so there's Wayne Cotter handing stuffing out. I believe it was Wayne Cotter, and Damon Wayans was there. He wasn't handing out any food, but he was there. And I walk up to the table, and they're very nice, but I think these people are my peers, kind of. I mean, I'm still, I'm that idiot. So I'm trying to kind of in my head, I'm torn between joking with them and also keeping my fucking head down in case I ever do make something of myself, and they're going to go, hey, didn't I give you fucking free potatoes once? You know what I mean? Just, that's all I needed to get busted. So the line comes through, and I get to the front of the line. And the last thing you get is turkey. I get stuffing and all that. And I get to the turkey, and the sterno pan is empty. And the comedian is Jason Stewart. He's a comedian. And he looks at me, and I will tell you Jason Stewart is gay. It means nothing to the story except for the fact that I'm going to do his voice, and you're going to wonder why I did it like that. But I come to the front of the line, and I go, hi. And he goes, sorry, no more turkey. And look, I didn't even want to be there for free food. Okay. But then to be abruptly dismissed with, sorry, no more turkey. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I just waited in line I didn't want to be, it was horrible. I didn't want to be there. How do you run out of fucking turkey? The thing's supposed to go till 5. I'm there at 2 p.m. How the fuck did you run out of turkey? So all this is welling up, and I look at him and I go, what? Pardon me? And he goes, sorry, no more turkey. So now he's insistent. No, I need to go sit down and have a festival of side dishes. Happy fucking Thanksgiving. Is that what the Pilgrims did to the Indians? They went, sorry, no more turkey. Have a seat and eat corn. Fuck you, indigenous peoples. We're going to give you smallpox blankets eventually. So I'm waiting for my smallpox blanket. So I'm standing there. I've got my plate is covered in it's got sides, and it's all, and I don't want to bitch about it because it just seems ridiculous to bitch about it. Again, it's free. So you should be, but the tone of his voice was you should be thankful for what you got. It was just so fucking weird. And so I'm not going to bitch about it. However, the families in line behind me hear it, and they're not as concerned about their careers as comedians as I am. So the guy next to me, under his breath, mind you, he turns to his friend and he goes, what the fuck did he say? And now I'm waiting for, homeless fight to break out, and they're going to start tipping over the tables, and Sterno's going to burn down the club, and I don't know what's going to happen. But then the guy finally, it kind of makes its way down the line, and there's no more turkey. And I'm still standing at the front of the line like an idiot, I holding my plate. And then Jason Stewart looks at me, and he's like, no more turkey. And the guy next to him goes, excuse me, what did you say? And then Jason Stewart, I think, realizes that it's not just me, it's a bunch of people in line. And he goes, just kidding. And then they bring out a new thing of turkey, a container full of, a whole new turkey and chopped up. God. He was mixing in the comedy part with the charity part. And his comedy was to tell the lonely people in line that there was no more turkey for their Thanksgiving. Thanks, man. That's hysterical. Thanks for making me feel even worse about this choice. Now I'm being made fun of because I'm here for free turkey. And again, I'm sure he meant it to be funny or humorous, and maybe he thought that I was, because I obviously didn't look underprivileged, you know what I mean? Maybe he thought he could goof around with big fat white guy. But it was so weird to be abruptly told no more turkey, sit down, no more turkey. It was I mean, I think a lesser man would have thrown a plate of side dishes at him, quite frankly. But I just sat there so stunned. But once he saw it started to kind of draw some consternation in line, he immediately had to go, just kidding. And then they brought out the regular turkey. So he was just goofing around, which is fine. But so I go and I find a seat, and I'm eating amidst, again, it's lonely people, and there's children there. It's really heartbreaking. Don't ever go get free Thanksgiving dinner ever anywhere. I mean, it's just so. Because when I was a kid, Thanksgiving was family. It always was, man. When I was a little kid, we would always go to my aunt's house. That was it. The end. We'd go to Aunt Marge and Uncle John. We'd go to their house, and then we wound up going to my cousin's bar after that. It was always family. And then when I moved, I was so astonished that people didn't do family stuff together, because when I was a kid, we all did. We all just got together, and there was always 25 people at a place, and there was food. But then when you move, man, I just expected, oh, well, I'm sure I'll find somewhere to go with people. No, that's not the way it is. You don't get invited everywhere, especially if Trash Talking Board Game Guy is coming along with you, because he's always my plus one. That means I'm not getting into the fucking party. Unfortunately, there might be a list, and I'm on it, but my plus one is Trash Talking Board Game Guy. Done. You're no longer on the list. It was always weird to me that people didn't do family stuff on Thanksgiving. So I sit down with people, and they're doing family stuff, but they don't have any money, or they're doing. It's weird. We're in the Laugh Factory showroom eating, and then they turn the lights on the stage, and they announce that there's going to be comedy. And I can't believe that they're going to do comedy, but sure enough. A guy comes up and he starts to introduce comedians, and he brings up Monty Hoffman. Now, Monty Hoffman is like an old school guy. He's almost like a Rodney Dangerfield type of guy. He might be like, I don't know, 50 years old at the time, and now he's 70. But that's a lie. At the time, he's probably like, 35, but he looks 50. And he's still around, actually, Monty. He was a nice man, good guy. He actually was in the John Campanera show The Good Life. He played like a blue-collar worker guy. Look him up. Monty Hoffman, nice man. So he goes up on stage to try to do comedy to a bunch of underprivileged people eating free turkey off of paper plates. And to his credit, he's trying to make it work. And as he's doing his bits, all of a sudden, in the front row, this little kid just goes, "You're stupid." Just drops that on Monty Hoffman right there. And and I will say, I should point out, Monty Hoffman tried talking to them first. You know what I mean? Because his regular act isn't going anywhere, as we all know, because it's 4:00 in the afternoon, or 2:30, and people are trying to eat free food, and they're miserable. Like, they don't want to be there, but that's the thing, is the Laugh Factory, I guess, thinks that they're going to give you laughs and food, and it's like, no, dude, we don't even want to be here. I don't even remind me. I could be in a firehouse. I could be in a fucking bat cave eating free food. I don't want to be reminded that, oh, look, it's either still mirth in the world. No, there's no mirth. There's a reason you're giving out plastic silverware. It's so nobody cuts their fucking wrists. So sure enough, Monty winds up talking to this family in the front, and the kid just drops, "You're stupid," on him. Oh, brutal. And then, there's no coming back from that. And the thing is, having met Monty later, I'm sure Monty wanted to strangle this little motherfucker and call him out and go off. But he wrote it. He did, a fine job of dealing with it. But everything he said to the little kid would top with like some ridiculous zinger out of nowhere, because he's a little kid. He's got that kind of leeway. He can say whatever the fuck he wants, and people are going to think it's hysterical. And again, we all hate Monty Hoffman anyway, just by proxy, because we hate comedy. We hate our lives. We hate everything that's going on at this point. And right now, Monty Hoffman's the focal point, because he's trying to entertain us as we try to just shovel our gullet full of goddamn free food. That's all we want to do. We want to eat and forget this day's ever happened and get the fuck out of there. I don't need a floor show at my fucking funeral, okay? So I'm waiting for Monty. He's on stage. He's talking to the kid. There's zingers going on, and I'm just kind of watching it. And out of the corner of my eye, I don't really notice it, because I'm looking at the stage, but I see on my right-hand side, we're sitting at long cafeteria-style tables, and also they have some tables set up, but also in the top they have counters. I can't even explain it, but we're all basically sitting next to one another. And there's just a decrepit older man sitting next to me. He's one of the guys who probably had really nowhere to go. He's not with anybody. He's alone. And as I'm watching the show, I look. He's eating food off my plate. I can see him doing it. I can see him clearly. With his fork, he spears turkey off of my plate to eat. The turkey's free. What are you doing? Come on. Don't make this even sadder than it already is. Because, again, I can't wheel on this guy. I can't fucking turn around and go, dude, what the fuck? Why are you eating my free turkey? Because, again, it's free turkey. And just as much as it's free turkey for him and he could go get a second plate, I guess I could just let him graze on my plate and go get my own free turkey, I suppose. But it's the principle of the thing. Get your fucking grubby hands and fucking crazy plastic fork out of my handout. You don't want a handout from my handout. Go get another handout. You already got one handout. Go have them hand you a handout. A second handout, because my handout is my handout. Spears turkey off my plate and eats it. Unbelievable. And then part of me is so curious to just pretend like I don't see it. I want to see how much of my food he's going to eat. So I kind of even cheat to my left a little bit to continue watching Monty Hoffman, but I'm still watching out of the corner of my eye. And this was funny. This was almost like I have to give this guy credit, because when he speared the turkey, it was almost like on the down low, like he was real quiet about it. And he like really silently snuck over with the fork and speared that. So then I'm looking, and this time he pulls out ninja moves. Like he's even faster. He steals a dinner roll like fast with his left hand. This time because he went crossbody right hand fork to take the turkey. But this time I see it happen. Like he just snatches a fucking dinner roll. And then I just fucking go, ha ha ha. And immediately Monty Hoffman turns around and goes, thanks. Because he thinks finally someone has come around to his way of thinking. He's like, I'm not up here wasting time, for Christ's sake. I'm actually killing now with one guy up there, not realizing the fact that I've got a guy stealing my free handout and putting it in a knapsack for later. This guy essentially stole a turkey sandwich from me. He took a roll and a big thing of turkey. You wrap that up. Hey, man, when you're fucking riding the rails on a train car later, you've got a nice snack. But Monty Hoffman thinks that I now think he's hilarious. So I guess my point is, if you don't have family or friends around, folks, you need to make family and friends. At least for Thanksgiving, or go to a movie by yourself. Don't ever go where they're giving you free stuff. You know, free stuff is great, except for the fact that you can't bitch and moan about it. You can't complain about it. And truly, isn't that half the reason you buy anything? If not even, it might even be more than half the reason. The only reason anybody gets anything is so they can eventually bitch and moan about it. And that's what we all want to do. But when you get something for free, there's no sense complaining about it, because really, it was free. What can you do? And I suggest that you keep that in mind every time you think about this show. If you get something for free, there's really no reason to complain about it. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at myspace.com/MikeSchmidtComedy. You can follow me at Twitter, twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. And you can be my friend at Facebook, facebook.com/the40yearoldboy. As always, that's the number 40 in the 40-year-old boy. And you can go ahead and be Lily's friend at Facebook, Lily Von Stupp at facebook.com. Or no, it's facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. Yeah. And you guys can also send her an email. Go ahead and send Lily an email at lily@burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Hey, what's happening? It's Mike, host of the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, the show you're listening to right now, unless, of course, I've decided to advertise on other shows, and I don't think that happened. I wanted to tell you guys about the Year 1 download set, available at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. 52 episodes of the 40-Year-Old Boy. It's got all the new artwork and theme music tied in, and it's got my liner notes for every single episode. It's got, I'll tell you about the original music, the titles and running times, ramblings about the episodes themselves. So go ahead and pick up the 40-Year-Old Boy Year 1 box set at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. The 40-Year-Old Boy Year 1. 52 episodes, $25, one brutally funny podcast.
Want to remind you folks that the Monday Night Tease is every Monday night at the 3 clubs on Santa Monica and Vine. Every Monday night at 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock sharp.
10 o'clock sharp. And who's there this week? Anybody good?
Everybody's good.
Everybody's always good, but what are names that I would know? Who do I know? Anybody that I know?
Don't know who Scott Neary's performing. Dizzy Von Dam's performing.
Dizzy Von Dam is there? Scott Neary?
Iona Vibrator is performing.
Iona Vibrator will be there. Fantastic. It's good to see her getting back on her feet. So come and check out the Monday Night Tease at the 3 Club, Santa Monica and Vine, every Monday at 10 o'clock. If someone becomes your Facebook friend, what does that get them?
half-naked pictures of me?
All right, besides that, well, they don't even have to be your Facebook friend to get a half-naked picture of you. Anybody who walks into you on the street and says hello, you will hand them a half-naked picture of yourself. That's just the way it works. But don't you send a flyer of some sort where people get a discount?
There's a discount flyer that's available through Facebook friending.
There you go. Facebook friender, you'll get a discount flyer. You'll go on
And
it
you can follow
Monday
the show
night.
on Twitter now.
Oh, you can follow the show on Twitter, but you can't follow Lily on Twitter.
Monday Night Tease has its own Twitter.
MNTs. Twitter. Hold on, I'm yawning. Why am I yawning? That sucked.
Bored to tears with my show.
No, it's because your room is so warm, and then you're stripping. She comes in a pair of shorts. She's like, oh, I got to slip out of my jeans and into something more comfortable. I'm like, great, Mae West. This show's picking up. And then she's like, my boobs are falling out. Sorry about that. And I'm like, are you trying to seduce me, Mrs. Robinson? What the hell's happening here? So go to MNTs. Twitter.com/MNTs. And then you can follow all the happenings and notes about the Monday Night Tees.
Yes.
And do you Twitter the flyer as well?
I do.
See, there you go. It'll Twitter a link. You get the flyer. Dude, it's all taking shape. Everything's happening now. So she's a cottage industry. Lily Von Stupp on Facebook. She's at burlesque411.com. She does her own burlesque podcast. I don't know if she's recorded one lately, but I know she does it. So go ahead and check her out and save her from the horrible. What are you doing for Thanksgiving, Lily? Why don't you go ahead and cough that up?
I'm going to the Hobo Thanksgiving in Griffith Park.
Lily's going to a hobo Thanksgiving. Now, remember when I was saying how it's get some friends or family on Thanksgiving? Well, get friends or family who have a house or who have a plan, I think is what I meant to say. Because I don't understand. I always thought it was a family deal, but then and again, everybody's traditions are different, I suppose. My traditions involve turkey and loved ones, and Lily likes the park and hot dogs. But quite frankly, Lily likes the park and hot dogs no matter what day it is. Let's be honest. That's she's someone who you can always find her in the bushes at Griffith Park and enjoying herself. So. She says none of her friends have families, so they're all. But yes, so then what you do is you go to people's houses and everybody brings a covered dish of yams and mashed potatoes. No, you're not. You're having hot dogs.
Production.
Wait, you're doing.
We're dressing up like hobos, and we're bringing our banjos and ukuleles, and we're gonna play in the park.
Folks, I don't know if you can hear this, but if you can't, that's fine, because it doesn't matter. It's a horrible, horrible plan. I don't understand it. Why do you need this aspect of Mr. Bojangles in your goddamn Thanksgiving? Just everybody get together at somebody's house, watch some football, and have some turkey. The whole point is the smells of the house and being together, and then, you know what happens? Eventually, you get together and you have some pie and you're hanging out, and by the end of the night, guess who shows up? Trash talking board game guy. That's the way it should go. You don't want him in the park because eventually there'll be a fight with some Hispanic family in a moon bounce. You don't want that to happen. Trash talking board game guy comes out and inevitably he's punching a guy named Javier inside of a moon bounce. That's not good for anybody. Go to a house. Don't cook hot dogs in the park with fucking burnt cork on your face. That's awful. I don't understand these weird Thanksgivings. And again, maybe they're not weird for you guys, but they're weird for me. Here's what I don't get. I don't understand celebrating Thanksgiving by dressing like bums. You're literally rubbing their faces in it at that point because you're in Griffith Park. You know who's there? Bums. Actual hobos are going to be there and see you playing a game dressed up like a bum. It's almost like you're literally, your Thanksgiving is, thank God we're not bums. I mean, it's so evil to drop that in their faces. I just think it seems counterproductive to the entire spirit of Thanksgiving. You know what you should do is you should dress up like Indians and attack the bums. That's what you should do. As if they were like the pilgrims or something, and then you dress up as Indians, or you could dress up like Indians, which, as we all know, are the retarded Indians. You go ahead and find some sort of weird feather hat and put it on sideways, and then paint war paint over your eyes so you can't see anything. That's what the retarded Indians do, as they they come out of their poo-poo where they live, and then they attack the hobos. That's what you should do. Don't dress like hobos and then to make the hobos feel bad about it. I mean, I don't get it. I just think traditional, and again, it's not traditional. Who cares? I know some people, there are people that I know that are having a tweet up for Thanksgiving. What the fuck is that? Are you kidding me? You know what it is? They've invited all the people who follow them on Twitter to meet them at a restaurant. Good Christ, could you think of anything worse than having fettuccine Alfredo with strangers on Thanksgiving? I mean, I had to have free turkey in a fucking comedy club, and at least I was having turkey. You know what I mean? And I guess maybe these restaurants, who know, I just can't even understand. I don't know. Look, follow me on Twitter, folks. Twitter.com, the 40-year-old boy. That's fine. I don't mind if you follow me on Twitter. I guess I just don't want you following me on Twitter or in person. You know what I mean? Like, once you come to life, then it's like I said, it's like the TV coming to life. You meet me at a restaurant, we'll shake hands and then we'll move along. But if you have to sit with me and we're strangers, what the fuck are we going to even talk about? Boy, aren't I great? Don't you love following me on Twitter? That seems less counterproductive and strange. I'm just going to sit at a table and receive people who follow me on Twitter? I've already busted my friend's balls about it. I think I don't get it. Again, I'm a different person. I barely tolerate myself. As you can tell from the show, I'm not comfortable in my own skin, let alone putting that skin on display for a bunch of strangers who know me 140 characters at a time, and then they're going to come and have a goddamn salad with me? Oh, Christ. You know what? I'm doing a 180 on the hobo idea. Go ahead and dress up like a hobo. By all means, put on hobo clothes and go out and do a crazy rumpus wild things dance in the park with hobos. I'm a dick, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a decent guy because I am a jerk. And I'm not a jerk. Man, I'm an awful guy. I'm not an awful guy. I am not a good guy. But I don't think I'm a bad person overall. So, and go ahead and by all means judge that. I'm kind of a jagoff. I got no future. What am I talking about? But I am a jagoff. And I'm not a jerk. I'm a nice guy. It's just I guess I have jerky tendencies. I've done so much ridiculous stuff, and then I wonder afterwards, I'm like, man, how come I don't hang out with anybody? Here's why, because you're a dick. You're finished. 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 You're finished.